I have a very serious question to ask the cosplay community on TikTok. Why is it that whenever black creators and black cosplay artists dress up as a character they enjoy, no matter how amazing the cosplay is, they always just get comments like these? But if any other person cosplays as any of those characters, all of a sudden it's just okay. I guess double standards finally made their way to the circus because who let clowns make these comments? Hey, how's it going and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about something that bothers me deep down in my African soul, and of course it has always been happening, but since TikTok blew up, everything has just been blown way out of proportion.
Hi, I'm choosing violence today. Can the Cookie Kingdom fandom please stand up? Y'all the main ones. Also, K-pop fan sites, y'all up next too. Let's not forget the Pokemon fandom for how y'all did Nessa. Shit, I'm gonna say even Allura, Marceline, like y'all really tried to do this shit. I know for a fact that black cosplayers who do Blacktober makes y'all sick because y'all can get away with this shit all the time. But the moment a black cosplayer and artist does some shit to a different, like a character that makes it their own personality, all of a sudden y'all want to bring up the copyright. All of a sudden y'all want to bring up the artist's wishes. All of a sudden y'all want to say blackwashing, which is not fucking real to me. But y'all want to talk about some knowing damn well that there's not a lot of representation. So the one time we do get representation, y'all like to run that shit to the ground just to be petty as hell. A lot of y'all are fucking hateful and jealous because a lot of black cosplayers and black artists can do something that y'all could never fucking do, which is 1, get palms correctly, 2, incorporate black hairstyles.
So in the cosplay community on TikTok and Twitter and every other social media platform that allows people to sign up without checking them for bigotry and spreading negativity, black cosplayers and artists are having to deal with not just hate, but underappreciation for the time and effort they put in to make their costumes and videos by people like this who don't understand why skin color, race, and gender has entirely nothing to do when it comes to literally just making fan art, because that is essentially what cosplay is, and portraying characters on the internet to entertain their fandoms and just people who are super into cosplay. But of course we'll get to that in a second. Now, for the people who live under a rock and have never heard of cosplay before, simply put, cosplay refers to the act of dressing in a costume to recreate the appearance of a character from a work of fiction or a popular anime, video game, or comic book characters. And as a side note, cosplay sometimes doesn't have to be based on a specific character, and simple costumes like a maid, schoolgirl, or nurse can also be used for cosplay. I'm sure all the kinky, not safe for work folks are smiling in their seats at the thought of that. Now, the good thing about cosplay is literally anybody can do it. It doesn't matter how old you are, if you're a guy or a girl, if you're white or black, Asian or Hispanic, and every other race and skin tone that exists. If you want to dress up as any of your favorite characters or Marvel villains or whatever, you can and should do it, especially if you can afford to make a super cool costume and if you can make the character just look cool, presentable, and appealing. So I literally don't know where these people got the idea that cosplaying certain characters can and should be done by only one race, because that particular skin tone is just what they're used to seeing on media and cartoons and shows and whatever. But in reality, cosplaying any character can be done by anybody, since it's just that person's representation of what the character can look like when they dress up as the character. And it's not them saying their version of the character is the one true and only version of the character and it's supposedly the official version of the character and that's what the character is supposed to look like. But I guess TikTok has made it clear that everyone is entitled to their opinions, regardless if the opinions are hateful or harmful or derogatory to other people and are written out of spite by people who just can't stand seeing black people or black cosplay artists dress up as any of their own favorite characters. And as an intellectual that I know you are, with an IQ of over 200, I'm guessing you're probably going to want to ask what their reason is for not wanting to see any race dressing up as their favorite characters, right? With hopes of expecting a rather decent answer with a deep philosophical reason behind it. Well, the joke's on you, because they literally have no other reason aside from because the person dressing up as the character is black.
First off, stunning, gorgeous, mwah, absolute perfection. Secondly, whitewashing is when white people take actual historic events and change them to either center whiteness, make them look better, or even change the color of a historical figure's skin. For example, Jesus. Jesus was not white. Or Thanksgiving, which makes white people look like they just sat down and had a fun old meal with Native Americans. No, they did not. They fucking slaughtered them. Now that that's clear, I do have a question. How do BIPOC feel about a white person cosplaying as a black character? Sans the blackface.
I'm not typically a fan of the race swapping of characters, but you do look cool as Robin. Good job. Also, black thumbs up because you're black. Black thumbs up because you're black. Black thumbs up because you're black. Black thumbs up. What does that even mean, bruh? First of all, can we just appreciate how he's using a Zemo profile picture and he's just being as weird as the character, and then he's even using an iPhone. I guess that explains a lot. My guy just dressed up as Robin and looks absolutely ridiculous in his costume and is high-key killing the look. But this Zemo person thought it would be a nice compliment to shade him and tell him he looks cool at the same time. And then black thumbs up. How does that even work? Do I just go around and only give black people a black thumbs up because they're black? How do I give white people a thumbs up? Because I'm not white. What bothers me is how this person actually thought it was just okay to comment on a person's cosplay of a character they thought they'll look good as, but because their race is not the same as the Robin in the comic book, which we can argue that since apparently there's an issue where there's a ton of different Robins in the Batman series, and I'm probably sure this person hasn't seen that issue or hasn't even heard of that, but they just think this person's cosplay is wrong because they're black. This is cosplay. Anybody can be whoever they want as long as they're not painting their skin tone or trying to change their skin color to portray a character. Can people please stop being weird about cosplays? Like, please let people just dress up as their favorite characters. It's literally that simple. At least just tell them the costume looks great if you have nothing else better to say. It's only white people that get pressed about cosplays, especially in anime. A black person will dress up as an anime character, and here come white people being like, this is cute, but you know, the character's not black, right? And I'm like, okay, well, they're not white either, so what's your point? I mean, yes, everything they just said. Yeah, because white people can definitely dress up as a black character and not get any criticism online, right? Well, this is an interesting take and I'm so glad you brought it up. When black people dress up as a character that's not their race or skin tone, they only put on the character's costumes and mask if he has any, and then play as the character. You don't see black cosplayers painting their skin white to try to mimic what a character looks like, because the character according to the comic book is white or light-skinned. If a black person wants to play Snow White, they just dress up as Snow White without having to paint their skin 3 or 4 shades lighter to look like Snow White, because that's just inappropriate and can be considered as blackwashing. So if we flip that around and have a Caucasian person trying to portray a black character, like say Black Dynamite, and then they paint their skin black and change their features to cosplay as a black character, then you and I know that is clearly problematic. The reason cosplaying as a black character if you're not black is a problem is because you're basically just putting on black features and taking it off whenever you want, like a costume. I don't care if they're making fun of it or not. Don't dress up as a black person. Blackness is not a costume. If you're white dressing as a black person for cosplay, it's okay, as long as you don't wear box braids, afros, etc., or make your skin black. Usually in certain situations, there's a double standard, right? You and I know that. But for an issue like this, no matter how you look at it, all the arguments these people bring up just don't make sense whatsoever. Most of these anime characters that are supposedly not black are also not white. Surprising as that sounds, you really think a show created in Japan with themes based off of their own culture will just use white characters as protagonists in their show because it's quote unquote right, or because it's socially acceptable?
I don't think so.
Obviously, their characters are going to be based off of major aspects of Asian culture and will be heavily influenced by people and characters the artists see daily and are just able to use as reference for their work. And aside from the majority of these characters being Asian, some of them are not even human at all. So you clearly can't just force a race on them because you think their skin tone looks white and you just somehow believe a lighter skin tone is the superior skin tone for cosplay. I have feared cosplaying anime characters forever because I didn't want to deal with this. This shit is rampant in the community and it's lame as F. My favorite is when people say you're not white enough when the characters are literally Asian. Just say you hate dark-skinned people and catch this block. It's almost like white people act like they don't cosplay non-white characters all the time. Just because an anime character looks white doesn't mean they're not created by Asians. Racists will be racist no matter what. I feel like things like this just end up discouraging people who genuinely are interested in dressing up as their favorite characters and just really want to get into doing cosplay. But then when they see stuff like this happening to their favorite cosplay artists or just people who they share the same skin tone with, they just get scared and don't even bother trying at all. And it truly just hurts knowing how heartless and cruel people can be on the internet. I think the only reasonable situation that can permit a person to tell another person they should not do cosplay is if they're dressing up as minors and then just portraying them in hypersexualized scenarios or just doing weird stuff while dressed up as a minor. So I'm guessing that shouldn't be allowed since it's just kind of weird, especially doing that to minors. But apparently there's a genre of cosplay which is solely based off of hypersexualizing characters. And I guess these people just have fun shipping these characters and doing whatever they feel like. So it just seems like it's okay with that fan base. But even at that, just be reasonable when trying to do something like that, especially if your audience are minors. And also don't try to do cosplay of real people and then try to sexualize that because that's just not cool at all. Even just doing fan art of real life people and putting them in weird sexual scenarios is kind of creepy. And if a person is just using their cosplay to be racist or is just making inappropriate, derogatory, racist jokes with their cosplay or just making improper jokes regarding other people's gender or body shaming people or even height shame people because we love and respect all the short kings out there on this channel, then yes, obviously you can call them out and tell them to stop doing that and not just commenting on people's cosplay and telling them to stop because they're black. Anyways, that's it for the video. I really love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so leave a comment with whatever you think about this situation down in the comment section. And if you enjoyed the video or you learned something from the video, please leave it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Also, please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mohammed Agbadi. And yeah, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Peace.